Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Musala. If it's your first time stopping by, you're definitely welcome. Make sure you subscribe, join the fam. Anyways, today is day 2 of Ramadan and I wanted to bring to you 10 myths of Ramadan. I feel like a lot of people think they know about Ramadan, and even though Ramadan has gone on for years, there's still a lot of misconceptions about Ramadan, and I just wanted to let you know a few that comes to my mind. So let's dive right into this one. Number 1 on my list is people always assume that, okay, if you see me looking down, it's because I'm trying to make sure that I'm in focus, my volume is working, all of that good stuff. Anyways, first myth about Ramadan is that everybody thinks that Ramadan is an avenue for you to lose weight. And if you're not losing weight, everybody assumes like you're not fasting, you're probably lying. I feel like right from when I was a teenager and I started fasting, I've maintained a chubby face. Like, out of my peers, I used to be like one of the thickest persons that you see like amongst my friends. So automatically everybody used to call me fat right from when I was 13. And I'm telling you, that 13-year-old Simi was this skinny girl, but everybody still called me fat. So even though I was fasting, everybody still thought that I was lying, or I was just not fasting because I was not losing weight at the end of Ramadan. I'm not one of those people who lose weight during Ramadan. Obviously, yes, you're not eating as much, so it is possible for you to lose a significant amount of weight, but it is not the purpose of fasting. So like when you see somebody who has not lost weight, don't be too quick to say, oh my god, you didn't lose weight, why were you not fasting, why were you not fasting? Like, you just automatically assume that they were not fasting just because they didn't lose weight. It is very wrong. Keep your opinions to yourself. Ramadan is not an avenue for losing weight, and some of us do not lose weight during Ramadan because we still eat the same things that we would eat on a regular day. Most times, people even eat more than they would eat on a regular day when they're fasting, because especially men, has anybody been like that? Especially men, most men that I know, when they break their fast, they first break it with fruit, then after like 30 minutes, maybe after praying Maghrib, they'll break with something else, then after that they will not eat the main meal. Some of us do not even have time. Like, once I finish my fruit, I barely have time to take in anything else, and I just don't lose weight. So stop assuming that Ramadan is an avenue for losing weight, and stop projecting weight loss on people because of Ramadan, if you get what I mean. Another myth about Ramadan is that people assume that once you're fasting, you're not supposed to brush your teeth. That is a lie. Funny enough, I feel better when I brush after I started fasting, because it helps me to carry on with the day faster, as opposed to when I brush like way before eating. I brush before eating, and then I'll brush like during the day just to make sure that my breath stays fresh. Ramadan and brushing have nothing, like, brush your teeth. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, most people believe that you cannot brush when you're fasting because you're going to rinse your mouth. People believe that once you are putting water in your mouth, then your Ramadan is nullified, which is not true. Water does not, because you perform ablution during the day anyway. So are you telling me that every ablution you make for your prayers voids your Ramadan? It doesn't. Brush your teeth, you guys. We need clean breath over here. Number 3 on my list is that people always assume that once you're fasting, you're only supposed to stay away from food and drinks, which is not true. Fasting does not mean you're staying away from food and drinks only. When you're fasting, you need to fast with your mind as well. You need to fast away from bad thoughts. You need to fast away from lying. You need to fast away from cheating. You need to fast away from backbiting. You need to fast away from bad doings. Anything you know that you wouldn't be caught, you don't want to be caught doing during Ramadan, like, you shouldn't be doing it. Like, you shouldn't be doing it closed doors, in public, anywhere at all. You shouldn't be doing it. Like, if you know that you're too ashamed to do it, or if you're going to be caught doing it, then like, desist from it already. That's what Ramadan is. Ramadan helps you to curb some habits that you probably had before, like gossiping, backbiting, doing bad things to people, being evil, a lot of things. I could go on and on. It's not just about food and drinks. That's my number 3 myth about Ramadan. Fourth myth I'm going to bring to you is that people always assume that every Muslim must be fasting. There are a lot of things that exempt you from fasting. If you're pregnant, if you're on your period as a woman, if you are traveling, if you are sick, and if you're not just in your right state of mind. I don't know if I'm missing anything else, but some people are exempted from fasting. So if you see a Muslim who is not fasting, kindly mind your business. Especially fellow Muslims, we always feel like, I'm fasting, so why won't you be fasting? We didn't come to the world together. I have my own struggles. I'm probably not talking to you about them, so stay away from my business, and I will gladly do the same. Are we incommunicado? What about Ramadan is that people assume that you shouldn't swallow your saliva. Like if you swallow your saliva, you have nullified your fasting. That's not true. Like it is a part of your body. Like take it in as many times as you can, as long as you're not taking something else in and then swallowing it. If it's something that's coming from it's your body fluid. Like you can't what's it called? Somebody borrow me the English. You can't avoid it. That's what I know. Because especially if you're talking, like me, I just did it. If I'm talking, I tend to swallow my saliva. It does not nullify your fasting. Your fasting is still very much valid, and you are good to go. Sixth myth on my list is that once people believe that once you're fasting, you're supposed to just go cold turkey, which means that you're supposed to stay away from everything. You're not supposed to talk. Maybe if you're at work, for example, and your colleagues are having a conversation, you're not supposed to say anything because you're fasting. And like people put this stigma on you, like as if you're doing something bad if you contribute to a conversation, or if you decide to go play, or maybe you're playing ball, for example, and you go outside, or you're going for a walk, and people are like, are you not fasting? Why are you doing this? Are you not fasting? You're supposed to be like as if you're supposed to be isolated or something. We don't have COVID. Fasting does not mean that you have a disease. It does not mean that you're supposed to stay away from everybody and everything. You're only supposed to stay away from a number of things, and then you're good to go. Stop stigmatizing or stop attaching people who are fasting to things that are not reasonable. Like, come on. Especially Muslims. We do it to other Muslims. But like, sorry, my camera went off. As I was saying, like people like to assume that if I'm isolated, then you should also be isolated. If I'm not talking to people, then you also shouldn't talk to people. Like, how does that make sense? Please let me know. How does that make sense? It doesn't make sense in any way, and it should not be encouraged. The seventh myth on my list is that Ramadan begins at the same time, same month every year. A lot of non-Muslims will ask you questions like, but Ramadan was around May last year. Why is it around June this year? Why is it around March this year? But Ramadan was July in 2021. Why is it in something plain and simple? Ramadan shifts every year because we follow the Islamic calendar, which is each month is the length of a lunar cycle, and it starts every new moon. So every new moon we start Ramadan. So like in the olden days, they wait for the moon to come out, and then once you sight the moon, the Ramadan commences. We still do that, but calendar has made it easy, and science has made it easy because now it's predictable and it's easier to, like, figure out when the next Ramadan is going to be. Another myth about Ramadan, oh my god, this is the one. Another myth about Ramadan is that people like assuming that once I'm fasting, a non-Muslim or a Muslim who is not fasting should not eat in front of me or should not drink in front of me because I'm going to be tempted, or I'm going to feel bad, or I'm going to feel sad, or I'm going to feel feel free. Okay, feel free to do what you feel comfortable doing. If it doesn't work for me, if I'm not comfortable to be around that situation or around that person or around what you're doing, I would gladly walk away. If your food smells too delicious, I'm going to walk away. But do not feel like you have to limit yourself because you're in front of a Muslim who's fasting. If you need to limit yourself, maybe if you're watching porn or you're watching something that might trigger the person in a way, or make the person attracted to what you're doing. But food is basic. It's like you having diabetes and somebody is drinking Coke beside you, and now the person's supposed to feel bad for you. Why? Like, carry on with your life. I'll carry on with mine. Out of respect, you can decide not to, but don't say you're not eating in front of me because of me. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, if you feel like you don't want to, it's fine on your own account, but don't do it because of me. Like, I'm an adult. I can take care of myself. This is the one. Okay, I said this is the one for the last one. Another myth is that people like assuming that if you eat by mistake or you drink by mistake, then you should not fast anymore, or your Ramadan or your fast for the day is void, which is not true. A lot of times, especially for the first few days of Ramadan, or if you've been on your period as a woman and you now start fasting during Ramadan, like, it takes a while for you to mentally adjust to the fact that you're fasting, especially during the day. If maybe you drink water around 12 o'clock, maybe that's your lunch time or something. Just giving you an example. Let's say you drink water around that time. Obviously, if you suddenly drink water and you're fasting, you can easily just drop it down and continue with your fast, because your intention that matters. If intentionally you did not drink that water because you wanted to break your fast, then you are free to continue with your fast. Just finish your mouth and you're good to go. Actions will be judged by your intention. It's a verse in the Quran, and yeah, it just says that what your mind goes after is what you'll be judged by. Another myth is that you're not supposed to break your fast under any circumstances, which is not true. Brings me back to the fact that some people are exempted from fasting and there's no compulsion in fasting. No, I take that back. There's compulsion, but not for everybody. Say for example, I started fasting this morning and around 12 I saw my period and then I broke my fast, and then somebody walks in and is like, I thought you were fasting this morning, why are you not fasting this afternoon? I'm not fasting for reasons best known to me. I don't need to carry a loudspeaker and tell every single person who I told I was fasting this morning that I'm no longer fasting. You can see that it doesn't make any sense. Like, let people do what they feel like doing. What if around 12 p.m. I got a headache and I felt like I needed to use some meds to get myself back again? Like, I shouldn't be questioned for that. Let's say I tore my palm or something and I was bleeding and I just felt like, okay, I needed to take blood tonic to like regain my consciousness or be stable. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody's entitled to how they feel, and if somebody feels like they need to break their fast, please let them be. Stop being too much in people's businesses. This last myth is an addition because I already mentioned 10 myths already. This last one is just a bonus. This is for lazy people especially. People always assume that if you miss sahur, which is like the meal you have before you start your fasting, if you miss sahur for any reason, then you shouldn't fast for that day. I feel like we've all done this. I've done this before when I was a kid, probably in secondary school or primary school or something, where maybe you woke up late or you woke up after Fajr, so obviously you couldn't make your Ramadan. People always assume that, oh, if I miss my sahur, then that means that I'm not supposed to fast for the day. Sis, I'm sure you know better. Anyways, that brings me to the end of this video. If you like this video, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what other myths I didn't mention in the comment section. Let me know if you like to see more videos like this. If you have any suggestions on any topic you'd like me to talk about during Ramadan, let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Make sure you stay good during this Ramadan. And if you're Muslim, Ramadan Mubarak to you. If you're not, check on your Muslim friends who are fasting. Enjoy the rest of your Ramadan. See you guys. Bye.